Welcome to True Crime US, your source for the latest updates on criminal incidents that capture the nation's attention. Today, we bring you the heartbreaking tale of Barbara Tommey, a devoted 27-year-old wife whose life was cut short in a horrifying act of violence. Barbara's assailant was none other than her 35-year-old husband, Prophet Sylvester Ofori. Behind the facade of a religious leader, Sylvester harbored a dark and abusive side. Barbara endured countless incidents of domestic violence and irresponsible behavior throughout their marriage, leading her to muster the courage to escape the toxic relationship. But before Barbara could liberate herself from this harrowing ordeal, fate dealt her a cruel hand. Sylvester's threats were not idle words. He had warned Barbara's family that he would take her life if she dared to leave him.
We did not come here for you. Don't let me hurt you. Leave. We didn't come here for you. We came to
Can I promise you something?
Promise me.
If I don't kill your sister, then me, I am free.
You got the video, right?
Tragically, he followed through on those chilling words. In a heart-rending twist, Sylvester tracked Barbara down to her workplace and unleashed a barrage of bullets upon her, firing 7 times with deadly precision. Surveillance footage captured the chilling incident, exposing Sylvester's utter disregard for his wife's life. After shooting her multiple times, he coldly stood over her lifeless body and delivered additional fatal shots to her head, extinguishing any last glimmer of hope. Join us as we pay tribute to Barbara Tommey's memory and delve into the events leading up to this harrowing moment. Subscribe and hit the bell icon to remain updated on the latest developments in this case and other compelling stories of crime and the pursuit of justice. Together, we will strive to raise awareness and honor the memory of those whose lives have been tragically taken too soon. Welcome to Orlando, Florida, the vibrant city in Central Florida that boasts a plethora of thrilling theme parks and attractions. Among its world-famous entertainment havens is none other than Walt Disney World, home to the enchanting Magic Kingdom, mesmerizing Epcot, and exhilarating water parks. But there's more to Orlando than Mickey and friends. In the midst of this dynamic city, Barbara Tommey's life took an unfortunate turn. Born on the memorable night of May 14, 1993 in Accra, Ghana, she embarked on a new journey when her family moved to the United States during her early years. Those close to her describe Barbara as kind, loving, and tenaciously hardworking, and she undoubtedly held a promising future. Barbara's dedication led her to a position as a branch manager at the Navy Federal Credit Union near the mall at Millennia in Orlando. Her story took another chapter when she married Sylvester Ofori, also a Ghanaian, back in 2015. In the vibrant city of Orlando, Ofori wore the title of pastor at Floodgates of Heaven International Ministries, a church that drew its congregation with a strong social media presence. Through videos of his impassioned sermons and prophetic messages centered on the power of Jesus, he aimed to inspire and uplift his followers. But the idyllic facade of his public persona masked a darker reality behind closed doors. Barbara, his wife, endured a marriage that was anything but happy. According to Barbara's sister, Sophia Tommey, the couple grappled with significant marital problems, with Sylvester revealing a deeply troubling abusive side. Allegations included physical assault, choking, and even threats involving firearms, as Sylvester's anger and violence escalated.
Sylvester was just a pastor, so the thought of losing everything pushed him to kill my sister.
It wasn't always this way, as some friends and acquaintances recalled a time when they appeared as a joyful, loving couple. Sharing a common background, culture, and faith, they once celebrated an elaborate wedding ceremony in Ghana and embarked on a romantic honeymoon in Paris. Together, they relocated to Orlando and started their ministry, united in their spiritual journey. Yet as time went on, Sylvester's behavior took a sinister turn. He morphed into a controlling and possessive figure, tormenting Barbara and cutting her off from her support network of family and friends. His invasive tactics included monitoring her communications and issuing threats to keep her trapped in the relationship. Tragically, the abuse extended to physical and sexual coercion, forcing Barbara into actions she did not consent to. Despite the ordeal she endured, Barbara tried to cope by rationalizing and minimizing the abuse, often blaming herself for the situation. The shame and embarrassment she felt, especially considering Sylvester's position as a pastor, made her hesitant to seek help or expose the truth.
Because the sister was very secretive and reclusive. That is Barbara. She was secretive. She was passing through so much, but she didn't mention it to anyone. She was quiet. Maybe she thought the guy would change. She said Barbara was a very quiet person. So all the things we heard were from her friends. She never told us what she was going through until her death.
Yet, as the weight of the suffering became unbearable, Barbara mustered the strength to break free. She made the courageous decision to end the relationship and initiated divorce proceedings. Moving out of their shared home, she found refuge with her sister Sophia, seeking both legal advice and counseling to rebuild her life away from Sylvester's grip. However, her pursuit of freedom ignited Sylvester's rage and jealousy. Unable to control her any longer, he stooped to stalking and harassing her, even resorting to threats on her life.
We do not come there, so don't let me hurt you. Leave. We didn't come there. We came to like something.
Can I promise you something?
Promise me.
If I don't kill your sister, then me, I am free.
You got the video, right?
In a chilling turn of events, the ominous prediction materialized on September 8th at approximately 9 a.m. A heart-wrenching tragedy unfolded as Barbara Tommey arrived at her workplace, the Navy Federal Credit Union building, accompanied by her brother, Kweku Perry. Little did they know that a malevolent figure had been lurking in the shadows, waiting for his opportunity. Sylvester Ofori, the alleged assailant, had been surreptitiously biding his time inside his car parked nearby. Armed with a deadly handgun and carrying a backpack, he sprang into action as Barbara and Kweku made their way to the building's entrance. In a sinister move, Sylvester approached Barbara from behind, uttering her name, only to unleash a hail of bullets upon her at point-blank range. He then walked back to his car and drove away. The horrific incident was not left unseen, as a CCTV camera stationed outside the building captured the entire ghastly act. The footage revealed Sylvester's malevolent act, firing 7 rounds at Barbara's head, chest, and abdomen, leaving her lifeless body sprawled on the ground. Shocked witnesses immediately dialed 911 and rushed to assist Barbara and her brother until medical aid arrived. Barbara was swiftly transported to Orlando Regional Medical Center, but tragically her life could not be saved. The police promptly arrived at the scene, securing the area and launching an investigation into the cold-blooded murder. Collecting crucial evidence such as shell casings and Sylvester's abandoned backpack, they also interviewed witnesses, who provided a description of Sylvester and his getaway vehicle. In a relentless pursuit of justice, the law enforcement officers tracked down Sylvester's apartment, located just about 15 minutes distance from the crime scene. With precision and caution, they surrounded the premises and issued a stern command for him to surrender. Remarkably, Sylvester complied without resistance and was apprehended peacefully by the police. Subsequently, he was taken to the Orange County Jail, where he faced the solemn gravity of his actions, being charged with first-degree murder with a firearm.
We had a good feeling that he was going to be in there. We don't believe there was any risk to the public or immediate danger to the public.
Appearing in court later that afternoon, Sylvester Ofori was remarkably subdued and reticent. The gravity of the crime he stood accused of, murdering his wife, Barbara Tommey, while she was on her way to work, was not lost on the prosecutors, who presented the horrifying video surveillance footage to the judge. The footage depicted Sylvester callously shooting his wife and, shockingly, even standing over her lifeless body to discharge more rounds into her head.
Video surveillance, which shows Mr. Ofori not only shoot his wife, but then stand over her body and put additional rounds into her head.
Unraveling the chilling events that led to this appalling act of violence, police have been tight-lipped about the specifics. What we do know is that Tommey and Ofori were in the midst of a tumultuous divorce when tragedy struck. Digging into court records, it's revealed that back in 2016, Ofori had a brush with the law when he was arrested for resisting an officer during a heated argument with Tommey. However, the wheels of justice turned slowly, thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic and other unavoidable delays, causing his trial to be pushed all the way to April 2023. Throughout the trial, the public and media were riveted when the police released CCTV footage of the fatal shooting. The images quickly went viral on social media, sparking a firestorm of outrage and condemnation from those who were familiar with or followed Sylvester, the perpetrator, online. Though the exact motive behind the killing remains undisclosed by the authorities, they have asserted that this was not a random act of violence, but rather a domestic-related incident. The victim, Barbara, had confided to her family that Sylvester's rage and jealousy erupted when she expressed her desire to sever ties and move on with her life. Shockingly, Barbara's family claims that Sylvester had threatened her life on multiple occasions before the fatal incident. Adding to the disturbing puzzle are Sylvester's Facebook posts leading up to the heinous act. In these ominous messages, he alluded to his violent intentions and harbored resentment towards Barbara. For instance, on September 7th, he wrote, "One thing people gotta understand about extremely kind, nice, and loving people is that their other side is just as extreme." On August 11th, he cryptically posted, "Don't believe your friend that is telling you he saw me with another woman." And on July 23rd, he eerily wrote, "You can never truly understand something until it actually happens to you." The devastating news of Barbara Tommey's killing sent shockwaves through the community, leaving many who knew her in a state of profound sorrow. An outpouring of condolences flooded in for her grieving family and friends, as people couldn't comprehend how Sylvester, who called himself a pastor and prophet, could commit such a heinous act. Amid the tragedy, Barbara's family shared their plans to lay her to rest on September 26, 2020, in Orlando. Their hearts weighed heavy with pain and grief, while they clung to the hope that justice would be served for their beloved Barbara. During the trial, Sylvester's defense claimed that he suffered from mental illness, grappling with delusions and paranoia. They alleged that he was under the influence of drugs and alcohol at the time of the shooting, attempting to explain his actions. After only 2 hours of deliberation, the jury returned a verdict, finding Sylvester guilty of first-degree murder with a firearm. The judge wasted no time in sentencing him to death by lethal injection, in line with Florida's capital punishment laws for such heinous crimes. Throughout the proceedings, Sylvester remained stoic, showing no signs of remorse or emotion. Barbara's family and friends expressed a sense of relief and satisfaction with the verdict and sentence. They voiced their hope that Sylvester would ultimately face divine judgment for his crime. In these trying times, our hearts go out to Barbara Tommey's family as they continue to mourn her loss. May her soul rest in peace. Thank you for joining us, and please take care of yourselves out there. Until next time, stay safe.